Good morning. Yesterday I was working on this AKAI S3200 and the customer brought it in with an attempt to convert from 100 volts to 30, and very often this is quite easy. You just replace a jumper or wire up the transformer in a different way. But it didn't work out this time, and I was looking at the transformer yesterday and I didn't understand why it wouldn't work. But I took my variac out, and I think it's just rated for 100 volts, and it makes sense because on the back of the sampler it says 100 volts and not 100 to 230 or 40, whatever. And this probably is a Japanese or Asian version. There is a jumper on part of the power supply where you can switch between 100 and 230 volts. So part of the sampler is capable of switching. This transformer is not. As soon as you go above 100 volts, it starts resonating like crazy. And yeah, I'm not that well educated on transformers, but to me it sounds like don't do the trick. Now I took it out and I powered up the machine without the transformer because there's a big power supply providing 5 volts, 12 volts, minus 12 volts, and it all seems to work fine except for the audio. It responds to MIDI, I can use the front panel, it's all working, but there's no audio. Now what I suspect is, and it makes sense, this transformer and this little power supply is doing the conversion from whatever mains it is to in this case 2 times 20 volts or somewhere about there. And what I think is this power supply and only this part, or even maybe only this part, is, oh, that's unfortunate. Give me a sec.
Goeiedag,
Dankjewel.
alsjeblieft.
Yo.
Yo, ja.
That's the thing with life. I work here every day and I just received some mouse parts, but that's for later. So to get back to this, it's receiving AC here, and let me see if I can bring this a little bit closer so you can have a better look. So this is not powered right now, so it should be the tree. Why is it so exposed? I'm not sure. Okay, whatever, let's stick with this one. As you can see, AC is coming in here. Let me try to, come on, AC is coming in here, going through two fuses. There's a full bridge rectifier here, and here are the fuses. Yeah, and it's creating two DCs, some smoothing caps, and then there's an LED to show there's power. And if we turn this on with the provided transformer, I'm doing this the wrong way around. Now if I turn it on like this, and I have my variac here set to 100 volts, and the LED turns on, and if we measure the output voltages, this is one ground. Let me put this in frame. So it's 26 on this side, and I was, yeah, I didn't understand, but it's actually just two reels. They use the same color in the synth for the wiring, black, red, blue and orange, but where blue is -12 in most parts, the blue here is just ground. And so we can tell it's creating or 21 volts 2 times. And I guess we can have a look later, but what I believe, there's more linear regulators on the output PCB, the audio part, if you could say. It still releases some current. So what I want to do before I go looking for another transformer with the same size and the same ratings, and I cannot find anything about this transformer. This is all trial and error. I'm not sure what rating it is regarding amps or wattage for that matter. But first I want to make sure that the audio part of the sampler is in fact working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the voltage reels. So it's 2 times 21. There's no 5 volt here. And feed it into the sampler. See if we can get some sounds from it. So let's try that. We do need this for now because this part here, this is better, yes. This part here is just to pass through whatever is coming from the other supply. I'm not sure what the relay is for. Maybe it's to turn this part on after this part is running, maybe something like that, so you don't get a pop on the outputs, or vice versa. Power this side first, and then, well, I wouldn't know, it doesn't really matter actually, I guess. So let's keep this here. Let's put the variac out the way. And I know this makes boring videos, but you can always play it at 2 times the speed until you find the relevant part. All right, so let me try to see if I can get this into frame. I don't like working on big machines, but it's what I mostly get in my shop. Let me. Okay, power comes in here. This is a big power supply, but it's switching and it's generating 2 grounds. They are actually just connected together. They're not separated in any way, so it's not like an analog ground or digital ground, at least not here. The red wire is for the 5 volts, black is for the ground, purple is for the ground, green is for plus 12 and blue is for minus 12. And this all works. There's a jumper on this power supply. If you switch it around, it says on the print, be careful to switch it the right way around. You can feed it 230 volts, so there's enough headroom for most countries. And that's it. The machine works, except for this part. And this is connected on this power board, which receives its AC from the transformer that's only rated for 100 volts. Not even 110. If I put the variac to 110, it starts buzzing already. So this one goes right here and feeds this part. So let's see if we can put some voltages on here and try to run this part here. And maybe it's interesting to, is it difficult to get this board out and maybe see what's underneath, because I see 2 heat sinks here and I suspect linear regulators there to create plus or minus 15, plus or minus 12, whatever it is that they're using inside. And I also see some 5-volt regulators here to probably feed all the logic here. And I'm not sure where that power is coming from. Could either be this flat cable, could either be, no, it's not this, it's not this. So let's first try to see if we can take this part out. Looks like it's only one. Yeah, this is not connected in any way. Yeah, let's see if we can do that. Excuse me for a bit while I go off screen. take a picture of these two connectors before I disconnect them to make sure I put them the right way back. Is there a latch? I don't believe these have a latch. No, they don't. That's it. And here we are. So you can actually leave this board out because these are just individual outputs. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, these are channel 1 to 8 individual outs, and so we don't even really need this board, probably. Yeah, we can probably run it without. Analog inputs. Analog outputs on this side. We do need a board in here to transfer the power from the big power supply to the main board. It goes like this. And there's the floppy drive running on 5 volts, which connects to here, and this one. And it makes sense. This is this side here, the main power supply, or the main power supply, the big power supply, is a switching one, and for the audio part they want a linear regulator because supposedly it's less noisy. I believe it is. So this is just power for the audio output part, and maybe the digital analog converter is even on here, or these two the DACs. I want to know. This is memory, I believe. This all seems just fine. Inputs and output potentiometers going to here. Yeah, let's see if we can connect some voltages onto here. It was 21 DC, so I cannot show my bench power supply, but I'm gonna limit it to 1 amp for now, or maybe even less, but we can, well, let's say 500 milliamps for each reel, so that if I make a mistake, I won't immediately blow up everything on here. The regulators, I forgot to look. These are LM294 and LM295. So that's a positive and a negative regulator. So yeah, I would guess this is it. Now how to hook up. Let's get the order right. And let's see if we can pry these out over here. Where's the one that I want? Here's the one that I want. Here we go, this one. It's two. Come on. Three. And here's 4. So now we can put some power on these leads. Now I do want to be sure, and that's something a bit strange. Let me get the picture here that I just made. Because we have orange and blue and black and red. So this suggests to me, let's check if these are connected. Are they? No, they're not. Is orange and black connected? No, they're not. Let's try this again. No. So they're not sharing a ground. And because if one of these two is supposed to create a negative rail, then I would suspect these are wired up in the opposite. But swapping out the regulator is not a big of a deal. So what happens if I So it's to 21 volts. Here we go. If I turn it on, it's drawing 400 milliamperes. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Now, what if we do the other reel? And this could be exciting, because I'm going to presume this is positive again. This is negative. This is only drawing 100 milliamps. I hear the relay clicking. Yes, I heard it. So, yeah, it's not smelling weird. So let's try to get in some audio and turn it on. I have some MIDI over here. Let's do that later. First I want to just see if you can get any sound out of this. Power supply, the big one. It's off. Move the drive and turn on the machine. It's booting. And now if I turn on I think that should do the trick. Let's see if we can get some audio out of here. And I'm missing something. This is connected, this is connected. It's booting right now. Reading the disk, okay. I'm not even sure how to trigger a sample on this machine. Select program. And the program does hold the, how do you call it, the test files. Nothing's getting hot in here. Not yet. Oh, I see some op-amps here. I can try to see if the voltages look alright. And let's find a ground point. So it's minus 13 on this side and 15 on this side. That doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right at all. How about this one? I'm measuring minus 13 on the pin 4. Maybe measure the regulator output. It's 15. And this regulator is outputting . Come on. Give me a sec, I'll look something up real quick. What are these? 5. Yeah, that's what I would expect. Pin 4 is the negative reel, and pin 8 is the positive reel. Yeah, but this is something else. So let's try it again. Just to be absolutely sure. Because maybe one of these regulators needs replacement. I have here pin 4. It is pretty much spot on -13, but pin 8 is giving spot on 15 volts. Is this on purpose? I don't think so. Come on. It's on, right? Yeah. Let's do it again. $15 and 13. Yeah, I can keep on checking. But this regulator is not doing its job. These regulators get pretty hot. Really hot to the touch. I don't see any trimmers to adjust the voltage output. Not at all. So let's feed it some MIDI, because I still haven't figured out how to trigger samples from the front panel. There's probably a way you should be able to test your inputs, right? Or your samples. Let's open up Ableton. So here we go. MIDI output 8. I have it to channel 1. Let's start here. MIDI flashing in front. And yes. hear me? Yeah, looks like it. Okay. So the audio part is working. Because it's even transposing. But the real challenge is to get steady, nice voltages to here, so we can feed the audio board and let him play some music again. So that's the challenge, to find a linear transformer to put in here where the old one used to be, rated for at least 220 or 230 volts. And if we look at the original one, there's only 3 wires coming out of there, so I have to do some transformer research for myself first to see what I should get. But if you find a unit which says, like this one, I'm not sure if you can tell, but 100 volts, then even if you switch this jumper, the transformer is not rated for anything higher than 100 volts in this version, and I believe this is imported from abroad, Japan, China, who knows. So this is probably not for the global market, but just for the local market over there. It's good to know that everything is working, we just need to get some power. So that wraps it up for me for this moment, because the next part will be ordering and finding the right person. And I hate looking for transformers because all these specs, they're all scrambled up and they use different things, so yeah, there's a lot of reading to do. I'm gonna do that while I have some privacy. Thank you for watching, and I'll be doing another stream later today, maybe not, but thanks for watching, and till next time.